If you were to ask me, Sham, what is that one copywriting formula that you would recommend for all kinds of copies? Landing pages, websites, email copies, social media posts, and all of them. My answer would be the 4P copywriting formula. Let's know more about it. All right. So the 4P copywriting formula stands for promise, picture, proof, and push. Let's understand it with an example, right? So for that, I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you with an example. Okay. So as I mentioned, the 4P formula is PP. It's also called the PPPP framework. Promise, picture, proof, and push. In the promise, which is the basic headline that you would have in the copy, you sell the dream, right? In picture, you show the dreamland. You have sold the dream, but you need to show a clear picture of it so that people get excited about it. And then you show proof that this works. Your solution, whatever you're offering to take the person to the dreamland, works. So you show proof of it. And then finally you push to take push them to take action. Right? That's how it works. So let's see it further. We'll start with the first P, which is promise. And I'm going to take an example which I really loved. This is from Mark Manson's. You might have heard about it, this guy Mark Manson. He wrote this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's a quite a popular book. You may have even read it. He used to have this sales page where he used to sell something called as the subtle art school, right? Basically train people on how not to worry about others' opinions and all of that. So this is the sales landing page of it, and I'll show you the 4P formula in the play in this example. Right? It's absolutely wonderful how he has done it. So he first of all says he mentions the name of the program that he has, Subtle Art School. Then he says, learn to give a F about what truly matters. So he's um, he's giving you the promise. He learn how you can give a fuck about what truly matters and nothing else, right? That's the promise that he is giving in the beginning of the sales landing page. So in the 4P framework, that's how you start. You give the promise straight away, right? What does the reader get by reading further? All right. Once that is done, then it's not enough. You need to show the picture. You need to show a clear picture on how that beautiful dream would look like when the reader gets there, right? So it has to be very visual as much as possible, right? So look at how he has done it. Just beneath the promise line, he mentions the entire picture. He clearly kind of describes it. A great life isn't created by accumulating more and more success, more money, more compliments about your fancy new haircut, etc. A great life is achieved by focusing on what's truly worth giving an F about, and then successfully blocking out the rest. A good life is not a carefree life without pain or suffering. No, a good life is having the wisdom to admit that life can be pretty lousy at times and having the willingness to endure that pain in the service of something greater than yourself. In short, a good life is a life with good problems. So he's basically, you see how you kind of get transported to that good life, whatever he is promising, right? That's the picture part of the 4P framework. So whenever you are trying to sell something which is where you are taking the person on a journey to something better than how it is, right? You paint a picture about the dreamland, right? It could be also a pain point that you're solving. So, for example, let's say somebody has a knee pain, right? You have a solution where you apply a certain your medication or whatever, and the knee pain will go. So you can paint a picture like, for example, imagine running with your grandkids and playing football in the park. That's a picture, right? So you can do something like that. So that's how the 4P does the second P works, right? So we are done with promise, we are done with picture. Next is proof. Why should the reader believe you, right? Why should the reader feel that you are the right person to solve his or her problem or give him something that he desires? That's where you give social proof. So in this example, for example, for instance, you see that he says that, oh, 20,000 people have already joined the school. 13 million books, the book that I talked about, has been sold worldwide. He has 500,000 email subscribers, 1 million monthly readers. That's that's proof enough, right? For a lot of people at least, right? And then not only that, he actually gets into more details, like, welcome to the Subtle Art School. This is collection of knowledge drawn from nearly 15 years of experience helping people lead better lives, right? He's saying that I am not a novice. I know this for I've been doing this for 15 years, so I know what I'm doing, right? It is a school full of courses about cutting out the bullshit so you can find the struggles that matter, right? So this is the proof part. So in the same way, the example that I talked about, the knee problem, right? You could say that we have been researching on this, and it has to be true. But for instance, if let's say you have been researching on this medication for last 5 years, you say that this has been we have been researching on this medication for the last 5 years. It has been tested by certain credible agencies and all of that. That brings the proof, right? So that could be an example. Or if you already have if there are patients or people who have benefited from your solution, you can say that, hey, 100,000 people have already benefited from our solution. That could be proof, right? So that's the third part. That's the third P. The fourth and the final P is push. Uh, if you have ever worked with me, or if we have ever spoken, you would know that I always say that you should have a CTA in every page, and the CTA should be very clear, very simple, right? You should not have two, three different CTAs, just one type of CTA, and that's the push part. Like, push them to take action, right? So in this case, he says join over 20,000. You see this? Join over 20,000 others who have learned the subtle art of not giving an F, right? So that's the push part. So in conclusion, let's look at the entire 4P formula. You have promise, you have picture, you have proof, and you have push, right? So you start with the promise, you paint a picture, and then you show proof why you have the expertise to solve the problem or take the person to the dream, and then finally push them to take action. So in our knee example, you could say that, buy our pack for just $20. Use this coupon code, hurry up until stocks last, or something like that, right? That's a push, right? I've added some scarcity part as well, which I'll talk about. There are some psychological tricks that you can use. So those are also part, those can be added to any framework. But net, this is what 4P copywriting framework is, right? So let me stop the share. I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next one.